Queen Marchesa versus Muldrotha the Gravetide. We've opted to keep this hand, and a turn 1 Sol Ring from our opponent is excellent. Let's go in for... yeah, we'll just get down a tap land with Polluted Delta. That'll probably be a Rakdos land, and we'll throw it back over. Hopefully we can get into a third land sooner rather than later, because Anguished Unmaking onto Sol Ring doesn't sound like a terrible idea. A mana ramp coupled with a duress might make our life really hard work. Yep, they go after the Anguished Unmaking. So do we want to Night's Whisper or Dark Confident? I think Night's Whisper, because we'll have a better chance of getting into a land for next turn with that. And I forgot to crack the Polluted Delta at the end of my opponent's turn. I must have been F6'd and I didn't realise. Alright, well, we clear 2 lands off the top. If we get into a white, we can use Council's Judgment on that Sol Ring. Oh no, actually, we have Wear, so yeah. Even if we don't get into a land next turn, at least we can get rid of the Sol Ring and bring them back down to size. Okay, but they don't have any lands, which is good for us, so let's go for a Fused Wear and Tear. It's seldom that I ever get to fuse Wear and Tear, but we're going to see it here. Let's go for Plateau on that, and we'll go for Sol Ring and Bloodchief Ascension. And luckily our opponent's missing land drops, so if we go for Dark Confident next turn, then that is consistent card draw for us. Either that, or we get into a land next turn and go for Queen Marchesa, and then we can start getting consistent land drops off of that. 4 cards left in our opponent's hand, and they have a Courser of Kruphix and a land next turn. I think it's Dark Confident then. Dark Confident is, we reveal the top card of our library at the beginning of our upkeep and put it into our hand. We lose life equal to its CMC, so that is card draw for us, but it comes at a cost. The curve on this deck is quite low, so it's not likely to do too much damage to us. And the Courser of Kruphix might as well come in, because we're not going to block that with Dark Confident. Okay, we reveal a Blood Crypt off of the Dark Confident, which is exactly what we want. If we're going to reveal anything, it's usually lands. I want to take a look at my opponent's hand here, just to see if they've got anything that we need to play around. Okay, well, they've got blue cards, which they're nowhere near. Sakura Tribelder can help get them into those. Ooh, Consecrated Sphinx. I mean, if we put Consecrated Sphinx in the graveyard, it's not really any worse off there than it is in our opponent's hand. Yeah, I think I want to get this down tapped and then terminate the Courser of Kruphix. That not only stops us losing life every turn, but if they reveal a land off the top of their library, then they're not going to be able to play it. So it just minimises the amount of mana that they can generate. Let's go in with the Dark Confident and throw it back over to our opponent. We know that they're getting into Sakura Tribelder, so that's all they're going to do this turn. And they can get a blue mana with that. Okay, we reveal a Braid, and not the mountain, so we get shocked there. I think this is a good time to get down Obnixilis. Actually, do we need to get down Obnixilis? I don't know if we do, actually. Let's try Queen Marchesa. And then I'm going to swing in with just Queen Marchesa. I'm not going to go in with Dark Confident, because if we go in with both, our opponent could let it through and then swing in with the Sakura Tribelder next turn to get the Monarchy back off us. And just thinking now, I haven't actually been over the commanders, have I? Yep, doing the whole block and sack shenanigans with Sakura and getting in an island. Hopefully our opponent doesn't get into blue mana. If they do, they can go for Consecrated Sphinx. No, they certainly do get into blue mana in Marsh Flats. Let's put a stop on our upkeep. Actually, I didn't realise off of the Monarchy we drew into Vampiric Tutor, so we can get down removal Yeah, we can draw into removal for Consecrated Sphinx if we want to. But we have removal in hand anyway. Yeah, scratch that. I don't think I'm going to go for the Vampiric Tutor because I don't know what we want to get just yet. Our opponent's going to draw a couple of cards off of that. And so be it. Queen Marchesa is a 4-mana Mardu commander, 3/3 with Death Touch and Haste. When it enters, you become the Monarch, and at the beginning of your upkeep, if you're not the Monarch, you get a 1/1 Black Haste Death Touch Assassin. And the Monarchy sits in your command zone. At the beginning of your end step, you draw a card, but if an opponent hits you with a creature, then they take the Monarchy from you. And Dark Confident will trigger here. Okay, and we just reveal an Urborg, that's really good. And then we get into Ophiomancer, and our opponent can draw a card there. Yeah, perhaps what we should have done there is gone for Path to Exile to reveal it off the Dark Confident so that our opponent wouldn't draw with Consecrated Sphinx, but sometimes you've got to give your opponent half a chance. And I don't mind getting into Urborg here because our opponent isn't struggling on black mana anyway. Let's go Council's Judgment to get rid of that Consecrated Sphinx. And then I think I'm okay holding up a Braid and Vampiric Tutor. The Ophiomancer I don't really want to play out into a Fiery Confluence. Let's swing in. I'm thinking of Fiery Confluence to ping everything for 1 to get rid of this Dark Confident if it starts dealing too much damage to us. Actually, yeah, I think I'll just get down the Ophiomancer so that we don't have to discard anything this turn. And I don't suppose there's anything to stop us going for a Skull Clamp for the Ophiomancer with Vampiric Tutor. Okay, and a Damnation, yeah, that's a board wipe, that's always good to have. Vampiric Tutor our opponent has of their own. There's a reason you don't want your opponent to draw into cards with Consecrated Sphinx. Muldrotha the Gravetide is a 6-mana Sultai commander, 6/6. During each of your turns, you may play up to 1 permanent card of each permanent type from your graveyard. So with Muldrotha in play, they can go for an enchantment, a creature, a planeswalker, an artifact every turn, a land, and they went for Cabal Coffers by the looks of it with their Vampiric Tutor, which I think might be Wasteland worthy. If we can get rid of Muldrotha. What to do here? I think maybe Obnixilis. Obnixilis blowing up Muldrotha, although Darksteel Mutation. Yeah, maybe Darksteel Mutation. So let's go for Wasteland with the Vampiric Tutor. And Dark Confident will obviously reveal the Wasteland, dealing us no damage. Although the Vampiric Tutor did do 2 to us. We will kill the Cabal Coffers with that. Our opponent can replay that next turn with Muldrotha, but hopefully they're not going to have a Muldrotha in play. Because Darksteel Mutation is going to remove all abilities from it. And then how about an Abrade as well? Actually, can Abrade deal... No, 3 damage to a creature, so we don't have to worry about doing that to our opponent. Let's just try and keep our opponent off as much mana as possible. I don't know how much mana we took off our opponent with the Sol Ring and Cabal Coffers there, but they're only down to 6 mana right now. And then we'll swing in with everything and leave back a Death Touching Snake, just in case our opponent gets the Darksteel Mutation off of Muldrotha. And if we can keep swinging in here, then the Fiery Confluence is actually in range of dealing 6 damage to our opponent, so we might be able to do that next turn. Actually, yeah, if our opponent doesn't get down a creature here, then we can go for Intangible Virtue to make the snake a 2/2, go wide on our opponent for 6 damage next turn, and then Fiery Confluence for the other 6. This obviously assumes that our opponent doesn't get down another creature, which isn't likely in a Muldrotha deck. Extract from darkness. Each player puts the top 2 cards of their library into their graveyard. Then you put a creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Well, they've got their pick here. They've got Sakura Tribelder and Corsair of Krufix in their graveyard, and in our graveyard they didn't get anything. Yeah, we don't have any creatures in our graveyard, thankfully. But they do gain life with the Corsair of Krufix, notably. And a Geth's Grimoire on top of the library, that's noteworthy. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you may draw a card. Okay, get into Bitter Blossom. I don't think that's going to do much for us. Disenchant for the Bloodchief Ascension. This thing can go crazy if you get enough counters on it, so I definitely want to keep an eye on that. Let's go Swamp and Mana Crypt. I think it's Obnixilis getting rid of that Corsair of Krufix again so that we can go wide. If we can get enough damage off on our opponent this turn, they're definitely in range of the Fiery Confluence. So let's destroy that Corsair of Krufix again. Then we'll get down the Intangible Virtue and we'll just hold up Disenchant just in case our opponent does something frightening. And because we're going for the win next turn, I'm going to swing in with everything. And that hopefully means next turn we've got the win. They might be able to get the Darksteel mutation off Muldrotha and steal the Monarchy from us. Oh, actually, the snake has vigilance thanks to the Intangible Virtue. Yeah, I didn't think of that, so yeah, we've actually got a good blocker held back there. Okay, take an extra turn after this one and skip the next untap step. So that is pretty much just a draw spell from our opponent. Let's see what they got into. Oh, there we go, Languish. I wonder if they just drew into that this turn. That is going to kill everything that we've got on board. Still not too worried though. They're still in range of the Fiery Confluence and we can get down Bitter Blossom next turn. So yeah, we'll allow it. Not to mention the fact that we can go wide with Grave Titan. They can get down the Muldrotha again next turn because it was a 0-1. And -4/-4 obviously kills that. I think we'll make use of the Disenchant here. Just because it's halfway to having enough counters for it to be relevant. And I don't think we can have Obnixilis. No, we can't point Obnixilis at our opponent, so we'll just draw a card ourselves. Alright, I think the plan here then is Bitter Blossom. I think we can do Bitter Blossom and Grave Titan actually. And actually, if I use Fiery Confluence on my opponent now, I don't think they're about to gain a lot of life. And it makes that Ancient Tomb not as good for them. It means they can't crack fetches as well, although Ancient Tomb can tap for black thanks to our Urborg. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be overly safe here. I think it would be okay if we went for Fiery Confluence there and hit our opponent for 6. But just in case, I'm just going to play it safe. Bitter Blossom can go over our opponent's non-flyers. 8 mana to get down Muldrotha here. They might shock themselves with the Ancient Tomb. Yep, they do. If they're just relying on Muldrotha here, we go wide on them with the zombies. They can get down Sakura Tribelder though, from the graveyard if they want to. Okay, they go for Cabal Coffers again. They'll only have black mana if they tap out for that. And they might have a Torment of Hailfire or something like that. I don't think Exsanguinate will do it quite. Yeah, they just decide to go for the Krufix. That's a means of not only ramping, well not ramping, it's a means of playing lands off the top of your library. It's also a good blocker, as well as a bit of life gain as well. And it's a good job that we can draw the game to a close here because, yeah, we're going to lose 4 life here. So let's just get down the Fiery Confluence. And that is 2 damage to each opponent 3 times. And we'll see if there's counter magic in our opponent's hand. I don't think they could have Pact of Negation. That's about all they could have, I think. Probably should have gone for Castigate first, actually, now that I think about it. But luckily for us, our opponent didn't have anything, and we managed to get them down to -1. Yeah, a closer game than I realised, actually, because we were using our life as a resource there, as you tend to in black decks. We were managing to keep up on the card advantage front, but like I say, we were using our life total to do that, and that was getting us down closer to 0 than I would have liked. So yeah, pretty close one there, but that was Queen Marchesa, and we were up against Muldrotha the Gravetide. Hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.